All right, so we're back at the gym. It's Saturday and I'm a little bit tired from the week, so I might just stick to just lifting today. I actually did today's Metcon yesterday and I don't really want to do yesterday's Metcon today, so I might just stick to the lifting that's programmed, which is some power snatches up to 85% and then a bench 15-minute EMOM, which I definitely want to do. I brought in the GOAT Nano 11 Fronings to use alongside my Nano 13 Fronings. I don't know how I'm gonna split up the reps just yet, but I'm pretty sure I can figure that out. So Nano 11 Fronings are everyone's GOAT shoe. Like, I have both of them on right now. And you know, the obvious difference is that the Nano 11s are much wider in the toe box. I mean, you could tell right there that the Nano 13s just have a more pointed toe box. You're gonna notice that really at where the big toe is, the angle that it's at, it's just a lot more, I want to say, neutral on the Nano 11 Fronings because it allows more space for the big toe to go, whereas the Nano 13s does kind of push your big toe in. The fit around the ankle is pretty similar, just because it does have that slip-on design. The midfoot on also the 11s is wider. Because on the 13s, you for sure feel the lift and run chassis there. And I mainly just feel it on my right that has like a semi-collapsed arch. On my left, it's not as big a deal. But you know, if you had wider feet, and I don't have wide feet, I don't think I have wide feet at all. So if you were somebody that did have wide feet, that might be a little bit annoying to you. Other than that, I'd say the way that the platform feels, you know, I didn't think the Nano 11s felt like the Nano 11 platform at all, but the Nano 13s, they pretty much feel like the Nano 13 platform. So you do get better forefoot contact with the 13s than the 11s, even though the 11s I thought were still pretty good. You kind of feel the pitch of the 11s more than the 13s. Like it's more of a grounded feel with the 13s than the 11s, and that's mainly at the forefoot. And then, of course, the 11s are, they're definitely more flexible, and they are for sure lighter. Like the 11s were really light. I think they were like under 12 ounces. And while I still think the 13s don't really feel like they're that heavy, they are heavier for sure. But let's get this thing rolling, and we'll see which one I snatch better in today. It's funny how these are like the most sought after Froning, or I think CrossFit shoes right now, because they're still pretty fresh and people love these things. And they actually got relegated to my around the house like yard duty shoe. Not because they're bad, just because, I mean, I just beat them up a lot. I've washed these like multiple times, so they right now need a wash pretty badly. First set, only 125, not real heavy. Thought I would open up with my Froning 11s, mainly because, like, I know I can lift in the 13s. They're pretty similar to just normal 13s, and I use those pretty often. I haven't used these in a long time, and they feel a lot different than normal 11s, which I hate anyways. But yeah, I just haven't used these in a really long time. Okay, here is working. 125 first set. I just jumped straight to it. Feels right at home in these shoes. What can I say? The Froning 11s they're just great shoes. You could not use these in a long time. Go to them and not have any trouble lifting again in them. Or they could be a brand new pair of shoes and you'd lift in them just fine. Okay, next set, 145. Just hit this 135 real quick. Okay, time for the old swapperoo. Great thing about these shoes is I can just like slip them off and just slide right into the other one. No problem. I will say doing that, the 13s kind of have like more of a elastic feel. Like maybe my 11s are just worn up now, but like I could like easily just take my foot out of those, then put my foot in the 13s, and it's like it kind of hugs your foot a little bit more. Okay, 13s are a better lifting shoe, much better lifting shoe. More planted, better power delivery. Feels like you get a way more planted footprint with the 13s. And that is mainly in the extension. The 11s feel like it's a little bit softer, a little more comfortable. But the 13s, man, they feel like really planted. Okay, here's a nice little jump. 145 to 165. I think I'll start with the 11s here. Surprisingly, the 11s actually feel a little bit closer to the ground at the heel though. That's pretty interesting. So I think I'll do 2 in the 11s, switch to the 13s. Coming up a little short here. Yeah, I feel like I get better power transfer here. I'm getting tired, but the 13s do feel better lifted. They feel like just more solid. Like power delivery feels better, ground contact feels better. Maybe they just made them more tight, so they're more like of a competition fit. I don't know. Not taking away from the 11s, because they're great shoes. They both have their uses. Like the 11s can be a more comfortable everyday kind of shoe, more flexible, they're wider. The 13s feel like I'd want to work out in these more, or be more serious about my workouts in these ones. Okay, so last set, I'll probably lead it off with the 13s and then I'll go to the 11s. I'm not gonna blame the shoes for that one. You know, I don't want to blame the shoes, but honestly, the 13s are way more responsive. I felt like my pull and extension was just, I felt more connected. It felt less vague than the 11s. The 11s feel good. There's something about the 13 platform that like, you hit the ground and you're like planted. Like, even though the toe on the Froning 11 feels better than the normal 11s, it's still like a little bit raised off the ground. And I hated that about the normal 11s. That's like my least favorite thing about the 11s. And that's why I think they're terrible. And the Fronings still kind of have that. It's just not as bad. But you don't have that with the 13s. Like you feel like your whole foot is making contact with the ground like evenly. And you don't feel like you have to fish around to get your toes down, and then it will pull your heels up. It's all planted with the 13s, and that's why I really like them. So both good, but for lifting, the 13s are for sure going to be the winner.
Okay, so I did my bench press workout and then I bailed on my last set, so I was like, fuck it, I'm not gonna do anything crazy as far as conditioning goes. So I just decided to run in the Froning Nanos, and I just ran a mile just to kind of feel them out. And they're surprisingly not terrible. Like, I feel like you could run pretty strong in these, and they're not like too uncomfortable on your feet either. The only thing that you feel like, and comes in about like 1,000 meters into my run at least, is that you start to feel that they're heavy, and then the fit around the ankle becomes magnified when you're running because it starts sliding off your foot. It never like comes off your foot, but I tighten these before I run, and it just never feels real secure at the back part of the shoe, so it kind of feels like your heel picks up from the shoe almost every time you take a step, and that gets magnified when the shoes start feeling heavy, right? Because then it kind of feels like you want to like shift your toes so that you can get your heel back into making contact with the rest of the shoe, but then that requires more work, and it's not like you can't run in these, and it's not like they're gonna slip off or anything. I'd be worried about sprinting, but like if you're doing just a normal CrossFit run, it's probably not that big a deal. But like 400 meters at a time should be fine. Like I said, I only did a mile, and it only became bothersome about 1,000 meters into the mile. And then when you get past that feeling, and you know that the shoes aren't gonna fall off, it's fine. But yeah, stay relatively comfortable. Not bad for CrossFit runs, but obviously these are not gonna be great running shoes, and they're definitely not as good as the Froning 11s.